Yeah. You know, Kilgore Void is anxiously refreshing the page.
Yes. They're late. They're late by seconds. And we're live.
Oh boy.
Oh, Canada. Can I please move to there?
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Oh, we'll get some beer, eh? Go to a Leafs game. Don't you know? You want another Molson, eh, Sonny?
The stream is
Jesus
unlisted.
Christ. How would it unlist if I didn't change anything?
And it's unmonetized.
I don't know. I can't find the... I remember seeing it was unmonetized, and I cannot find an area that says monetized. Why would it change to unlisted? Seeming.
You're gonna have
I
to check
know,
it every
but
time.
it's funny that it changes seemingly randomly.
I think what it is because I have to unlist all of this every single stream. So it will just unlist it.
Mm-hmm.
Or it assumes that we want them all to be unlisted. But that's not true.
I've changed it to public, but okay,
There
good.
it is. Yep.
Good, done. And save.
There we are.
Lucky bat. Ew.
Hey, 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 hey.
Gotta get my... There we go.
Kilgore.
Gotta reset my palette.
Ooh, shake that pane a little closer to the microphone.
One thing I don't like about droppers is they consistently develop a burp. Where you take the cap off and just paint's coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I should take all of my
I mean,
droppers
I think
and
that's just
move them
how-
into pots.
Yep. I mean, I think we all kind of develop a burp over time.
Where's the wood?
Kilgore wants... Yeah, where's the wood?
Oh, it's coming.
Ooh, it's coming.
What am I looking for?
You're looking for the
I'm
wood.
looking for the color I need. Oh, yeah.
Wood.
I always get these two colors mixed up. In about 17 seconds, you'll see. I don't even know if the camera can pick up these are different colors.
Wow.
They are different colors, though.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are the same. They look like the same colors.
One of them is magenta, and the other one is slightly red magenta.
Regenta. Kilgore Void loves it when his wood is coming.
It should be here in the morning.
Some morning wood. That's pretty good. I like it when my wood is weepy.
Yeah, does anyone ever manufacture stuff with willow wood? They grow all over the place here.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's just an impractical wood.
It's probably... I mean, it's pretty, all over the place when it grows. So maybe it has a bad grain, or maybe it's not fun.
Maybe. I called Home Depot today, and they said they don't carry hardwood by the foot, but they do have a selection of oak.
Ah. So what? So they don't sell it by the
No,
foot.
you have to buy the board. But it sounds like they have small-ish sizes.
So what when we were there, what was
Oh no,
happening?
I called Menards.
Was that? Ah.
Called Menards. Home Depot sells it by the LF. Or the
By
RL.
the RL.
Yes, they sell it by the RL.
Regional
Yes.
length.
Willow wood is a key ingredient in
Interesting.
aspirin.
So. It's interesting. Why do you know that? Is someone making aspirin?
Apparently, willow trees have really, really, really crazy. They have shallow roots, and so a lot of people don't like willows because the roots tend to mess stuff up.
Because they. Yeah. Yep. You don't want one near your house with your basement.
It was funny because there's a million in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
The EOB fan club is here. Would not recommend Paranormal Activity 6 or 4 or 5. I think I watched half of the first Paranormal Activity and I got bored. There are some found footage movies I really like. REC is crazy good. I really like Quarantine, Cloverfield. But yeah, Paranormal Activity. Ooh, there's a movie called, I think it's called The Possession of Deborah Morgan. It's a found footage and it's really good. Very scary. I think it's called The Possession of Deborah Morgan. Or no, it's called The Exorcism of Deborah Morgan, I think. I think it's on Netflix. That's a good one to watch. REC is also excellent. The Blair Witch, I think the Blair Witch is amazing. I think a lot of people think it's dated, but I love the part where the main documentary woman, the student, they're like the two cameramen are screaming at her, and then she's like, I don't know what I'm doing, okay? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get out of here. My hair is stuck. Because she was kneeling on the ground and her hair got stuck in her backpack, and that was the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Just, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. My hair is stuck. And I loved it so much. Oh yeah, where are the spooky lights? I was filming today, so I unplugged a bunch of stuff. Hold on 1 second.
We need the spooky lights. It doesn't feel like the season without the spooky lights. Oh. I thought that maybe he was trying to get out of paying his electrical bill, which would also make sense. Ooh, nice background burp.
Oof.
BPM's high today.
There we go. Huge change to the stream.
It feels about right. Yep, everything's different now.
Yes, the story of Blair Witch is that I think the actors they were pretty much left alone. They really were camping in the woods, and they were given envelopes each day of their scenes. And so they just kind of roamed around the woods and then decided, all right, here's where we're going to do, lines 53 to 60. And then for at night, they would just turn on a spooky boombox and freak them out.
Hey, Craig Turpin.
Craig Turpin.
Welcome.
I always think of turtles. Aren't turtles called turpins? The ritual is amazing. Oh, I love the ritual. They found film canisters with their arguments for the day. They found film canisters? So they had to watch their scene? And then act it out? I heard they got notes. Or were the notes in film canisters? I can believe they don't have money for envelopes. Or just they just forgot. They forgot to bring them.
Can you just hand the notes to me? Why do you have to do it in this way?
They hid film canisters. I love the idea of the actor just being like, "I can't find it. What do you want me to do?" I'm in your stupid movie for free.
I don't get it. You're right in front of me. Can you just hand it to me?
Well, I think though it's not like it wasn't a big camera crew. I think the actors filmed themselves. So it's yeah.
I'm surprised that the union wasn't upset.
Oh, there was no union for that movie.
No, I know. Because you can't. Because you get to abuse actors for immersion.
I really like... I've heard the sequel to Blair Witch. Blair Witch 2 is okay, but I think they made a remake sequel called Blair... Like the Legend of the Blair Witch. That was pretty poopy. I like REC 2, Craig Turpin. I love REC, and I love REC 2. REC, the third one, it has a special name. That one's kind of bad. But I love Anthology. No, the sequel to REC is great because there's one where they're in the... They're doing the cult. That's a great episode. Just look that one up on YouTube. I don't think you need to watch the other bits, but yes, yeah, it's all in Spanish. But they subtitle it. They do, you know. Whoever found,
but then you have to not.
Whoever found the spooky footage decided to dub it and then or subtitle it. Yeah,
that's really nice of them.
And then put it onto a VHS tape. Because I think in the movie they're filming on digital because that's the camera equipment they owned, so that's what ended up on screen. Even though the thing of REC is it's all on VHS tapes, but you know I won't tell if you don't. In the first REC though, the succubus episode was awesome. I don't think I've ever seen the Crow. MIB Men in Black? What's the creepiest real found footage?
The moon landing.
Yeah, fake. ZNubiQ, hello.
Hey.
The moon landing. Yeah, who believes in that? You know what's a bad found footage movie? Apollo 18. I saw that in theaters.
Yeah.
I get really annoyed when you never see the monster.
You deserve to see the monster.
EOB is off to watch Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Oh, tell me how it is. That looked really good. It's the newer one based on the book series. And I think it's a hybrid anthology film. Because the book is an anthology.
Zerg619 made new progress on the Tau papercraft. Yeah, I wasn't able to check in today. I was on his stream on Tuesday to take a look.
The overall movie was just bad and boring. I mean, from the commercials and stuff, the actual special effects look so incredible. So it's hard to believe that the movie could be so bad it would knock down like incredible special effects. Because I mean, horror movies aren't usually great movies in general. Bird Box sucks. Again, I get annoyed when you don't see the monster. Especially when the movie sucks, and you're like, okay, well, maybe the monster will be cool. And then they never show you the monster, and then you're like, God damn. What has this all been about?
Yeah, Zerg619 posted on the subreddit. We'll take a look.
Ooh.
Look at some Tau papercraft.
A photo recovered from the Dalatov Pass incident. Is that the one where a bunch of people were found frozen to death and their tent was burnt? I think that might be the one you're talking about. That's the one. Yep. Some of the diary entries are bizarre. I think that the general consensus, I mean, I don't think no one will ever actually know, but they think that the group started a fire in their tent. The fire got out of control. They all abandoned the tent and then got lost in the blizzard. Wasn't someone missing a tongue? I don't know. That would definitely be a weird detail. Sometimes people missing a tongue, though. Yeah, they think when the fire got out of control, they started to slice at the tent to escape the fire. Yeah, I love a good spooky story. Also, the government pilot that was to transport their bodies home refused because apparently the bodies had too much radioactivity. It's interesting that the pilot could tell about the radioactivity. I wonder if that's a thing with helicopters. Is like you have to check.
Like they have a sensor?
Possibly, I guess if he knows. And the government tried to keep the families apart from discussing the event. The government tried to keep the families apart. Interesting. I saw someone tried the glass tile palette thing on the sulfur pool video. I saw someone tried the glass tile palette thing on the sulfur pool base. XenoBQ, I don't know what you mean. I've heard of people using all sorts of stuff for palettes. For a wet palette. Is that what you're talking about?
They used the glass tile palette on, and then what they made was the sulfur pool bases. I'm not sure.
I didn't use a wet palette to make the sulfur bases.
Using a glass tile as the palette on the video.
Oh, you mean like when I put my paint
confused.
on my glass?
Oh.
Because sometimes I do that if I'm just making a small mixture, and I don't need to like keep it. Yeah, that's part of the reason I like to work on glass. Is just it's so easy to clean, and I don't have to worry about like the paint absorbing into it at all. Yeah, I work on a pane of glass.
That sounds like quite a pain in the glass.
But yeah, I didn't used to. I think I'm not sure where it came from. It probably came from a piece of furniture with a glass top. But yeah, I just take it and sit it on my desk whenever I'm painting. My desk is just a cheapy IKEA something or other.
Yeah. That's actually what it's called in Sweden. Cheapy something or other. Cheapy something or other.
Lucky Bat. I got my piece of glass from Lucky Bat.
Ooh.
At the pane of glass factory, where they toil all day to make panes of glass. Yeah.
It's such a pain to work there.
I mean, you know, if I wasn't shooting videos, I don't know if I would care much about the pane of glass. Because the nice thing is I can wipe it clean constantly, and then have, you know, reset my filming surface back to 0. Whereas if I was using like a drop cloth or just painting right on the table, I couldn't.
Yeah. I mean, I think you should buy the Citadel mat.
Citadel mat. Yeah, I'm sure that the branding really adds a lot to your overall painting quality.
Yeah. Well, I think that there's like divots in it, so when you spill your paint, it goes in the divots, which is really nice.
Chris Bellew uses the glass thing for videos, but was never sure if it was for video purposes or hobby purposes. Yeah, it's kind of both. If you like a really clean environment, you'll probably like a pane of glass because it just wipes clean. But if you're just here to hobby, I mean, there's nothing wrong with, you know, using the back of a cutting mat or, you know, just putting down some newspaper.
If you're a slob.
Yeah, if you're a slob.
I just have a piece of masonite. That's it needs to get replaced soon.
If you're painting on a cutting mat though, I would suggest like painting only on the back, because cutting mats, they do kind of need like air and moisture to heal, and if you cover it in paint and then, you know, you're blasting at it with chemicals to clean the paint, you're gonna hurt it.
Yeah, it's an organism. It's a live organism. You need to let it breathe. Feed it twice a day, and then you'll have a happy cutting mat.
Don't feed it after midnight. Don't let it see bright light, and don't ever get it wet. No, you should definitely occasionally wipe down your cutting mat with water. It helps it heal.
I got my full desk hobby mat for like $10 at a
That's pretty
rummage
good.
sale. That's pretty good. I have a full desk one because I was forced to, because I was in architecture and I didn't know better.
If you're here to if you're not here to hobby but to party, then I'm sure you're painting on the bar. Then paint on a disco ball.
Yep. Use that to hold the models. And it spins for
Yeah.
you.
As soon as I finish painting everything, yes, that's when I do all my cleaning too.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're never gonna stop making models.
Nothing is clean. It's true. And you're never
Yep.
going to stop buying them.
Sometimes I paint them though.
I also like paper plates for a palette. Easily disposable. Gotta get the kind of glossy ones.
Yeah, I don't know why I started out kind of using a I started out like everyone does with the GW pots, just taking it straight from the pot. I moved on to a wet palette pretty soon, but for like probably 8 months to a year, I switched to plastic palette, like a dry plastic palette. I don't really know why. I just kind of I started doing that, and then I got in the habit of it, and I kind of liked it. And I did that for a long time. And I think it might have helped me learn a little bit more about wet blending, because I would clean my brush, but I would leave it saturated and then take it to my hard palette. I would rehydrate my paint and then move it onto the model. But I like a wet palette.
High burps for a minute. I already had my LaCroix for today, so I'm not allowed to have another one. Mommy says, at least.
I think Nick's a
Usually I try to sneak
Nick's a firm believer in the Glad press and seal wet palette. Don't you use like a Tupperware?
Yeah. Yeah, I used Tupperware for a while. Right now I have just a plate, like a plastic plate, and then I make that into a wet palette because it's a deeper plate. And it's perfect. It's a lot like what you have, but from Bargains in a Box.
I remember this.
Just because like
for a little while, my family had square plates, and I stole this. And my grandpa commented when he came over to visit. He's like, square plates. Are you guys in some kind of a cult?
Wow.
I
does that even
think
mean?
He was joking. Can never be sure with old Gramps, though.
Yeah. I don't think he was joking.
You were saying about your plate?
Yeah, I don't remember what I was saying, but it's basically. I mean, it's basically what you have, but it's a plastic blue plate. I was using it because I was a little while ago. I was starting to repaint my orcs, and so I went with that. Because the problem with the Tupperware is you kind of have to attack the paint at a weird angle because it's so tall. That's a problem. You could get a short Tupperware, but I didn't. When I was using the Tupperware, I didn't have that.
One day I might try out a product, like a wet palette product, but I don't know. My plate works so perfectly for how I like to paint. And I know, like with a product, you can put the lid on and then throw it in the refrigerator, and supposedly the paint will last forever. But I don't know. I feel like if you leave the paint for hours, some paints are going to absorb more, some paints are going to not. Some paints are going to dry up.
You're not coming back. You're not coming back.
That's true, yeah. I might
game.
just decide not to paint more.
Hmm. Ben Montgomery asks, "Do you have any tips to not get into a cult?"
Tips to not get into a cult. If you find yourself wearing a uniform, that's probably a bad sign.
Yeah.
If you have to give sexual favors to the leader, that's like a medium flag.
Keep going.
If you have to
Yeah,
if you
keep
have to
being in
shave your
there.
head, not great.
Hmm.
If you find yourself stockpiling ammunition, not a good sign.
Hmm.
And if you're drawing weird symbols on trees in the woods late at night, that's also a bad sign.
Yeah, you probably if you find yourself at a
Yeah.
séance, it's probably a bad sign. You're just drawing a lot of pentagrams. Probably in a
A
cult.
uniform with no shoes or socks. Yes, avoid Kool-Aid and Nikes.
Hmm.
Also, yes, also avoid square plates.
Yeah, that's another big thing.
I like square plates, though. They fit nicer in drawers. Or, like, in cabinets.
Uh,
This one's kind of heavy, but I do like a, I'm gonna forget the name of it now. What are the plates that are really thin? Corel plates. I could join a cult that had Corel plates. They're not even expensive. You can buy them at Walmart. I leave my
ZNBQ. I leave my paints for like days with the top on. They rehydrate fine, but lots of environmental factors to that.
environment does play a huge role.
Mm-hmm.
One time I was painting, and my house was about 110 degrees, and I actually found that my paints were drying really, really fast. So I actually had to take a break on some colors and I just kind of blocked out my biggest areas and called it a day.
Wow.
The military is a cult, but in a kind of a different way. Any sort of a military force like the police is going to have rituals and rules, and most of that, but
And
that kind of, I mean,
seances.
exists for reasons, but they're not like evil reasons like in a cult. Except for some
of them. Some of it. Hmm.
The tricky thing with the military is they kind of need you to operate like a machine. They can't really have you making decisions. So the training,
Right. Only certain
Yeah.
people get to think.
but that's to a certain extent that's to keep you safe, because if you have 10 people trying to achieve one thing different ways, they could hurt each other or get lost. So I kind of military is kind of a special circumstances.
Hmm. I mean, what's the difference between a cult and a society?
Well, society, I mean, is so open-ended.
Mm.
You can do whatever you want in a society. You can be a metalhead.
I feel like cults aren't cults inside of
Yeah.
societies.
There's a cult near where I live. I'm not a member yet. It's still pending. But yeah, they live on a little compound with a church
is it-
and a little field.
I love.
It
And it's
is.
adorable.
I wanna live
too.
there.
They have a cute. They have
Yeah.
a cute little sign and everything, and they have a cross, and it's just
It looks like a wonderful place
just
to live.
special. Yeah, and to die. I saw the graves back there.
Cultlery. That's a pretty good one. What's the difference between the plumbers union and a cult? I actually know a little bit about the plumbers union. It's fine.
Yep.
I play 40k. I'm already part of a cult.
Jay, you
Absolutely,
play
I
40k.
am.
Yep.
Introducing wargaming to the cult of wargaming. I want to be part of
Uh-oh.
the cult of Kill Team.
Ah, gotta play a
Yeah.
few games, a few more games. Hey Ben, are you still
Yeah.
here? When are we gonna play another game?
My Space Marines need to taste blood. They've been built and painted for almost 2 years.
They're ready to go.
H.G. Wells and his Little Wars? Was H.G. Wells involved in cults? I know he wrote War of the Worlds. Or no, wait, he wrote A Time Machine.
War of the Cult?
Did he also write War of the Worlds?
I think so.
I really like A Time Machine. It's a really fun read. The Morlocks get me. They're very scary.
How are the secret kill teams
Mine is
progressing?
going very, very well. I think I'm up to like 7%.
Well then. Nice. Mine are built. I'm still working on the bases.
What percentage do you think you're at?
I mean, they're built. So I know what my list is, my options. So maybe 20%.
I gotta step it up.
I mean, it's still the base. The base is
yeah,
gonna take forever because I don't know what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm in the middle of a bunch of tutorials, little Blender tutorials.
I'm working on putting together, and I may or may not be waiting on some things to arrive.
Yeah. Because I don't need that many different individual bases. And I'm thinking one of the bases. So I'm gonna because two of these members of my kill team, I think they're gonna have like computer generated bases. So I'm gonna set up all the parameters and then hit random until I find two that I like for them. I think that'd be kind of neat, just to try it out. Then the other ones I have to do a lot of sculpting, and I don't know enough about sculpting. I have to practice a lot more.
I've done a lot of green stuff sculpting.
It's the exact same thing. Paying Burn Dark. I'm also doing Blender tutorials. Which ones are you doing?
The donut?
Better be doing the donut. Or you better have already done the donut.
I've done the donut. Nick's done the donut.
I've done the donut.
It's not easy, but once you do it, you're like 10% of the way there.
I'm doing a bunch of like making concrete and making destroyed rubble and making like little houses and having them break apart and stuff.
My first wargaming experience was me and a friend setting up sides of green army men and taking turns throwing tennis balls back and forth. Tennis ball can take out a lot of green army men.
That's very true. Did the donut and bought a graphics pad and trying to learn sculpting.
Fancy.
Nice.
Let us know when you're good. Maybe we'll commission you. I think my first wargaming experience, I suppose, is me and some of my friends would, back when we were little, 12, 13, we would get chalk. Our parents would buy us chalk, and we would draw Star Wars space battles. And so we would draw a scene on one driveway, and then we would move to the next kid's house, and we would draw the next. We would draw missiles with the chalk, and we would draw laser guns, and then we would add up whoever fired more missiles and stuff, and then we would go to the next person's driveway, and when we would draw on the second scene. And so now there'd be like fewer ships, and then we would do it again and again and again until someone was the victor. But there was no like rules or anything.
Good old kid games. Kid games, everyone was the winner because you were a kid. You didn't have any responsibilities. Huh. Does Battleship count as wargaming?
I like Battleship, even though it's just number letter.
I do too.
It's just number letter.
I like Battleship.
There's no game whatsoever.
We used to at work. We used to play it on our phones while we were supposed to be working. We would do like the messenger games, and so that's what we used to do. It was a lot of fun. Or we'd play the beer pong one. That was also a fun one. We wasted many a day doing that.
Well, I'm sure that corporation is thriving in a world without art and events.
Yes. Yeah, it's doing great. There's a reason why I do not work there anymore. Oh, man.
Risk is a lot of fun. Before you've played like real games, you got all the little models.
I haven't played that in a long time.
The Canadian Monopoly champ.
I liked they had like Risk Online, but it was called Warlight or something, and now it's called like something else. That was really fun.
I remember you showed me Warlight, and you told me how to log in and stuff. And I logged in, and I just wrecked you in the first game, and I had no idea how to play. I was not doing major things you need to do in order to win, and I still won.
Yeah.
Like literally, like apparently in Risk, like you get more men the more territory you control. I never deployed more men. I just assumed you get, the whatever 2 you're allowed at the beginning.
Yeah, you never played the cards. Because as you get territory, you get cards, and you never played the cards. Craig Turpin's friends went to Las Vegas for Worlds for Monopoly.
Is there strategy to Monopoly?
It would be in Vegas. I think that there probably is. You get hotels. You want to eat up all the houses.
Because it seems it's to some extent you just hope you don't land on your the other player's stuff. Sometimes you go to jail and you're like, woo, perfect.
I'll just stay here, thank you. Dr. Druckle, did any of you play the game where you and a friend each draw an army on different halves of the paper sheet, then you mark a spot on your side and fold the paper in half to see if it hits an enemy?
No, but that sounds pretty easy. No. Unless, do you not know where the other person's army? There's the game.
You don't know. Let's play 40k Monopoly.
I thought the 40k Monopoly looked really lame. Cause
Ooh.
they just
Kilgore Void has it, I bet.
they left like go to jail, pass go. Like they left a bunch of it just standard Monopoly. If you're gonna go 40k, you gotta go 40k 100%.
I don't think that's how
I know,
they
but
do
it's
it,
so
though.
lame.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, who doesn't have Monopoly and so is gonna buy the exact same game again, but with different pictures?
Oh. I mean, my family. We have the normal Monopoly, and we have Corvette Monopoly.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sick.
Does anybody remember when they sold washes in the little pots? I do, because I have this one.
I remember that. Dr. Drokel, no, you know where they are. You just have to judge the measurements on where they are on the opposite side and try to match it on your side when making your mark. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I drew my guy a little down and to the left. So, whatever you do, don't make your mark down and to the left. Else you'll hit me.
And Craig Turpin said Monopoly has a strategy. Never do hotels, tie up houses. That's what I said. I just wanted to be proven right. That's why I mentioned Craig. Fragile egos, fragile minds.
Someone did stab me in the leg with a pencil when they lost. One crazy day in high school. I don't remember a lot of my high school, but I remember this. In science, there was like a particularly boring lecture, and we were all just sitting there. And then one kid raises his hand, and he asks to go to the nurse. And we all look back at him, and there's a little trickle of blood coming out of his neck. And we're like, what? And so the teacher's like, what happened? And he said, I stabbed myself in the neck with a pencil.
Oh, that's great. What a winner.
And the teacher said, why did you
Was that
stab
in an earth
yourself?
science
And the
class?
student said, I don't know.
You can't
Yep.
always be a winner.
This was one of my favorite days. He just stabbed a hole in his neck.
Mm-hmm. Never underestimate
Yep.
classroom boredom.
Pretty much.
That must have been one boring lecture. Yep.
I stabbed myself in the neck with a pencil. Incredible. If I ever make a movie, that's going in there.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That needs to. I know in shop class, one of the kids I was training just grabs the ellipsoidal by the ball and stares at me. I think I burned my hand, Mr. Kilgore. Good old, those ellipsoidals. They'll get you. It's always fun when, like stagecraft classes are focusing the lights on stage and you're like, it's really hot, the back is really hot. And they always touch the back. Like, my hand hurts now. It's really hard. Yeah. You can't touch the back of the lights.
Why not, though? They're so touchable.
I just want to smack it.
Lead Belcher.
Dr. Drokel.
What's Drokel say?
Go ahead. Okay. Dr. Drokel stabbed himself in the hand with a pencil and asked the teacher if he could go to the bathroom to wash the wound. She said, "Let me get you something to use," and got out a bottle of 409.
What is 409?
I think it's a cleaner.
You gotta let the kid go to the nurse.
No, you just give him a little spray.
Must have been pretty superficial. I remember in high school there was like a little tutor area. Like there was like one period you could go there and you could get like help. And so me and a kid are sitting there all class period because I think it was lunch or something, and I just snuck out. And he gets up and leaves, and underneath his work was a hall pass, like a bathroom pass. So he asked if he could. So in his class, he must have said, "Can I use the restroom?" Left for the whole time to go to the tutor center.
Wow. Yeah, Formula 409 is like Windex, but for surfaces like counters, sinks, etc., etc.
I used.
So it'll get the job done.
I used some sort of a cleaner. I think it was called yellow something, like sunshine, and it was the worst. Like they used dye to make it yellow, so everything I cleaned would just be a little bit yellow.
Yeah. Well, you're not supposed to piss in it.
It was shocking. I'm like, how is this cleaner? Why would you put like color in cleaner? Simple Green's pretty good. I like Simple Green. You buy a huge tub of it, you're set for life.
It's dyed that way so you know where you cleaned.
The chat talks very little about painting.
As God intended.
Do you guys want to talk about painting?
It's more exciting. It's almost more exciting to not talk about painting.
We can talk about painting, but
Pang Burn Dark. It must have been the R. Kelly brand. Oh my god. Probably about right. I'd rather talk about biddy collecting.
My biddy collection is
have you been collecting some biddies lately?
Small. Just a Paratau and a Fallout miniature, the Nuka-Cola girl.
I mean, I don't even have any biddies. I mean, I have that male slave figure though. Collect biddies every day.
Every day I biddy all day.
Biddy collecting sounds like something a serial killer does.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, wait till I get a 3. I'm involved in a couple of 3D printing groups on Facebook, and I love the people who unashamedly post like their huge busty gal that they're trying to print, and they're like, "Excuse me, why is my print failing? I'm trying to print Harley Quinn, and it keeps failing."
And it only, it only printed the tits. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Just no shame whatsoever. It's great.
Nah.
Now, what you printing there? Oh, I'm just doing a test print. I thought it was funny. That's why I want to print this thing.
Dr. Choco wants a quick glamour shot of him on the bike.
Of the model I'm working on?
I guess so.
Doop. Of him on the bike? It's going to look a little funny because his legs aren't attached.
I think it's going to look about right.
He actually kind of fits a little nice. I was kind of hoping that the bikers would be in Phobos armor, just because it's a little slimmer. The full-size armor, I think, looks a little silly on the bikes, but at least I think the Chaplain works. Even without legs.
I love him without legs. Call him Lieutenant Dan.
Good old Lieutenant Dan.
You're not using enough support on them.
Mm-hmm.
On them biddies.
I remember one time someone was printing a biddy, and they were like, "Why isn't this working?" And then I said, "If you picked a file with smaller tits, you would need less support." And I thought it was a very funny joke, but no one else did.
And then you got banned. Surgeon Fish asks, how long did it take to paint the Helldrake? I don't have an airbrush, and I feel like it's going to take forever.
If you mean like the fiery Chaos Helldrake I painted way back in the day, I don't think I used an airbrush on that. I think I just painted it, like I airbrushed it red, but then I think I painted all of the little fire effects by brush. It probably took 4 or 5 hours. But yeah, models take a long time
to finish the whole thing.
Well, I only did the fire effect on the top. If you flipped it upside down, I don't think you'd see a lot of fire effect.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
Speaking of long time ago, 1 more minute, folks.
Oh my goodness. I didn't even realize it. I was just having too much fun.
Time flies when you're having fun.
What's the thinner paints of 3D printing? 3D
bed
printing.
Leveling?
Love your bed.
Printing a benchy?
The Helldrake video is how I found your channel. Wow, your recent content is also amazing. Well, thank you, Surgeon Fish. Yeah, we forgot the theme park stories from Cobra Boyd.
Oh my god. Well, they're going to have to wait because we are wrapping it up.
They are going to. I even took a screenshot to remind myself, but then I didn't look at the screenshot. Also, if you want to see some close-ups of the salamanders, there's some pictures up on Instagram at EonsOfBattle if you want to go look at them. Get a nice closer look.
On that note, we're going to be wrapping it up. So, good night, everybody.
Good night. We'll be back
Yeah.
here tomorrow at 9 p.m.
Watch
Central.
all our videos with ad blocker turned off.